that little party I went to, Diddy party. We went to the little private area behind the, cause he had a house behind his house. Like he had a house, a backyard with his backyard with a fat bed, and then it had like a miniature little whatever.
To stop everything, you guys, Chrisean Rock just set social media on fire. And this time she's not the one taking the heat. She went on Instagram and straight up exposed Young Miami, accusing her of selling her off to Diddy for his notorious freak-offs. Oh boy, the internet did not spare Miami. It was like a digital takedown, and people dragged her all over timelines. And not just because of Chrisean's bombshell. The timing was insane. Because when a victim named Jane Doe exposed Miami in court for being Diddy's top freak-off girl, she wasn't just in the mix, she was a queen bee, was earning more than $250,000. But that's not all. It's said that she increased her freak-on compensation to $500,000 per month. Because she wasn't only getting freaky for him, she was also allegedly helping to hide his indiscretions and luring other girls like Trick. Yes, Rock, this tea darkens with age. Miami has already been mentioned in one of Diddy's lawsuits. You may recall that Lil Rod accused Diddy of running a criminal enterprise, and guess who else was mentioned? Miami. At first, Lil Rod only talked about how Miami had personally harmed him, but later, he updated that lawsuit and provided receipts demonstrating that Miami received up to $250,000 in hush money to carry out various shady activities, such as smuggling illegal substances across state lines for Diddy and you all. Diddy's Thanksgiving party in Miami was beyond disturbing. Lil Rock claims that after Diddy spiked his drink and he was to stunt to defend himself, Diddy ordered Young Miami to have her cousin sexually assault him. It allegedly went horribly wrong when Miami's cousin broke into the bathroom where Lil Rod was trying to recover, groping him and attempting to force him to do so in front of Diddy and others. It doesn't end there though, because court documents reveal that Miami was one of the women employed by Diddy for his private freak-off parties. Yes, she was reportedly one of the middle women who helped Diddy get girls on a regular basis. Lil Rod even included pictures from that Thanksgiving night in Miami, showing her cousin Diddy all together, apparently having a good time. Accused her of using a private jet to transport Diddy's notorious pink substances. If you've been following the trials, you're aware of the type of pink that has been brought up numerous times in those cases. And it was even taken from Diddy's hotel room when he was arrested. Well, let's talk about how this whole freak-off payroll process worked. According to reports, Robin Greenhill, Diddy's accountant, handled the wire transfers and cash flow to girls like Young Miami, Jade, Daphne Joy, and others who were paid on a monthly basis to perform their roles. Robin's name surfaced a lot, and those financial records painted a complete picture of how deep this all went, so naturally. Once this mess went viral online, it was exploding. Explosion social media became investigative. The receipts are coming in. And don't forget the time Miami acted all snobbish toward Diddy's other girlfriend, Gina, telling her that if she called Diddy, Gina would be on her knees. That energy was "I run this freak-off house, you all are beneath me." People recall the rumors from last year that Miami was receiving a $500,000 monthly allowance from Diddy. There was even talk that they broke up when he cut it down to $250,000. And she wasn't having it. We now understand why she was so brave. Interview.
Young Miami put out a tweet a while back and basically was into it with, I guess, one of Diddy's other women. And she basically said, if I wanted you to eat my cat, Diddy would have had you on your knees by now. Do you think that that was really like her telling on herself before she knew things were gonna hit the fan?
No, I think that was her being herself because she's a dumb.
Damn.
I think she was just telling the truth because it's almost as rough as Nicki Minaj with females out here. I hear she lace front all the time. Snatching up and throwing them in her nasty twat. Like when I think of the title of her show, I'm like, is that what your victims be saying? Carisha, please?
Oh, man. Damn. Okay.
Please, Carisha, stop, Carisha, please. She likes that. That turns her on. Wild bitch. And her in the sexy red and the Sukianas and all this the saucy Santanas. The whole lot of them. Got sadists. I know a Punisher when I see one. I was a Punisher one time in my life. You know, it takes one to know one. And I used to be hard on, but these, they doing I wouldn't do.
Everyone began to process this insanity. At these freaking gatherings, Chrisean waded in with more venom, going public and saying that Young Miami actively attempted to persuade Chrisean Rock to be one of Diddy's chicks. When the trial news broke, everything clicked. According to Chrisean, Miami was grooming Chrisean, and it wasn't just rumors anymore. She implied that Chrisean was being prepared to be Diddy's next freak-off queen. Miami had suddenly started getting really close to Chrisean, taking her out and hanging with her. But nothing made sense.
They was trying to recruit Chrisean. That's what Diddy and what's the girl Chrisean was trying to recruit Rock. Remember that when they was heavily trying to get Rock to hang out with them? I think they was trying to recruit her. She got a lot going on. We're gonna talk about it on this podcast. We're gonna get to the nitty gritty, all the gritty of the nitty, because it's necessary. I think them was trying to recruit her, because remember they just had her pulling up to everything. Yeah, remember? See what I'm saying? We don't. This podcast gonna be, because y'all know the mama know everything and everybody business. So we gonna find out on this podcast. We ain't gonna talk no shit about nobody. We ain't gonna mock nobody, but we definitely gonna explore the possibilities that was going on. Cause they kept calling her, remember, pull up to the birthday party, come over here and dance on Chrisean. Remember that? I feel like they was trying to recruit that baby to be in on this. That makes you see what I'm saying? That's why I gotta have a podcast, because I gotta get this on the table. Can't nobody get it on the table but my nosy. Okay, Tasha K ain't she over there making up. I know we gonna get to the bottom of on this podcast. Tell me if I'm lying. Go on over there and tell me if I'm lying. I'm telling you, they was trying to recruit that baby. They said, let's get her away from him. That's what they was doing. We gonna put a couple pounds of that on her and have her fly. They ain't gonna never suspect her.
And that makes so much sense. That's why he grabbed him and he said, what did he say? He said, do you love her, or she needs love?
All she needs is love. Now how about that? We gonna explore all the possibilities.
When the receipts arrived, someone unearthed an old party video showing Trojan at one of Diddy's wild parties. It was awkward to watch as he was leaning in and kissing her face. Trojan appeared stiff and obviously uncomfortable, and she attempted to pull away. But he had a hold on her. Then, there was another, even more bizarre, clip from January in which Chrisean herself recounted the story of how she was with Lil Plummer, the executive producer of Baddies, who allegedly invited them to his private back room, not his house, but a back room behind the house where the freak-offs allegedly took place. Rumor has it that's where the freak-offs occurred. Unable to bring his security super sketch, Diddy allegedly grabbed Lemuel by the collar once inside, upset that he hadn't paid Chrisean enough for her work. His people now think Diddy was acting like a protector to entice Chrisean and make her feel safe, just like he did with Chrisean. Chrisean even claimed that after that night, Lemmy would suddenly start treating her better, paying her more and showing her more respect. However, why did that shift occur? People say Diddy wanted her to feel as though he was her savior.
I will never forget that motherfucking day, bro. So I set a price. I said 200,000. You said 100. I said 150. I'm not going underneath that. Cause what? I'm about to bring a lot to the table. That little party I went to, Diddy party. We went to the little private area behind the cause he had a house behind his house. Like he had a house, a backyard with his backyard with a fat bed, and then it had like a miniature little whatever. And then me and Lemmy go upstairs. They tell him that he can't bring his security. He went in like a little with no security, so it's just me and Lemmy. We go up in there. Hold on. We go up in there. We go upstairs. He like, what's up, Diddy? You know, you met Chrisean. You gave her kisses on the cheek. Early on in the party or whatever. We just wanted to follow up. I'm glad that you Sean. And then he grabbed Lemmy by his neck. It was like, but do you with her? Like, don't play with her. All she need is love. Don't play with her. Don't play with her. And I didn't understand that till
to this whole stunt. Doty's support of Chrisean over a paycheck was all smoke and mirrors. Just another one of his manipulative strategies, just like he allegedly did with Cassie. Now, we're learning that he did the same exact trick on Jane Doe, who revealed in some shocking detail that she was in a committed relationship with Diddy from 2021 to 2024, right up until his arrest, not to mention that Young Miami was also publicly associated with Diddy from 2022 until the feds took him down, indicating that Miami knew who Jane Doe was. Jane's story is essentially the same as Cassie's. But there's a cruel twist. Unlike Cassie, Jane acknowledged that she stayed for the money, not just the rent. According to reports, Diddy promised her more than $10,000 a month provided she complied with all of his requests, no matter how he treated her, including those freak-off parties. Jane made it clear to Diddy that she didn't want to do any of it. But what did he do? He gaslighted her, manipulated her, and played mind games. And whenever she attempted to leave, he dangled her bills and lifestyle in her face. Who is paying for all of this? He would say, if you leave, it's done. The worst thing was that Jane really tried to leave him once, after learning that Diddy had taken Young Miami on a trip to Turks and Turkey, but she stayed. Much like so many others caught in toxic power plays, Diddy iced Jane out and flew off with a woman who would do anything he asked, which is when the public started to turn against her. Young Miami hard people said, okay, freak off with Diddy if you want, but don't drag other women into this mess. Chaos Jane was not invited because she had refused to perform for him. Twitter didn't hold back when it was revealed that she had allegedly attempted to recruit Chrisean. Some said that Rock couldn't keep a secret and that it would have been foolish to recruit her. Others called for Natalie and Lemuel to be looked into further, claiming that Natalie was doing for Lemmy what Miami was doing for Diddy. Everyone on the reality circuit is somehow involved in the same shady system, which they are calling a full-blown trafficking pipeline under the guise of casting. The outrage was no longer just about Diddy. It was about the entire system of girls being groomed, people in positions of power acting as puppet masters, and Miami allegedly playing both victim and recruiter. All of those glitzy Instagram posts, the red carpet, the luxury vacations, the monthly wire transfers, the drug transports, the private jets, and the girls being used. The part that has people furious is the part that Chrisean had to sigh if Chrisean hadn't revealed. Would we even be aware of any of this? And let's take a moment to discuss Chrisean. The fact that she has already experienced it and is still entangled in this terrible web says volumes about her. She was a young, impressionable woman seeking a break, and now a glamorous industry figure is coming, since that's how he operates. He doesn't snatch victims off the street. Instead, he builds trust, plays protector, gives out money, constructs castles out of lies, and then locks the door. Young Miami offers her the fast track, takes her out, introduces her to Diddy, and entices her in. But what if Chrisean hadn't? Notice the warning signs. Doors behind you, Jane. He gave Doe the impression that she had no other option, so she stayed. The reason Casey stayed was because she was being emotionally and physically controlled, and Chrisean nearly walked right into it. Now, Young Miami is being viewed in a completely different light, not only as someone who was allegedly involved in too much, but also as someone who may have actively assisted Diddy in manipulating and trapping other women for the sake of a luxury lifestyle designer bag. 500,000 people are furious online, and recruiting Rock would be the dumbest thing ever because she doesn't play quiet. One person commented, "Lock them all up, Miami, Lemu, Natalie. The whole circle's complicit." Can we also have a conversation regarding how strategically sound this entire system is? The industry is shaken about how long this may have been going on for years without anyone speaking up until women like Jane Doe, Cassie, Carissa, and Sheen started speaking out loud. It took a lot of bravery, and now the dominoes are falling. But the big question is still whether Young Miami will come forward with her side, or whether Diddy will face real consequences. Diddy had a team, an accountant to wire the money, assistants to manage the girls, and jets to transport houses with secret rooms, no phones allowed, surveillance, and hidden loyalty. Will there be more women beyond the headlines? If what Carissa said is accurate, she was as close to being locked up in the same historic prison Diddy built for his so-called queens. Thank God she saw the signs early. Moving forward, especially if they were offered recruitment money to bring others in, this might just be the beginning. Now it's your turn to weigh in on this shocking revelation. Let's hear it. Was Miami genuinely attempting to recruit Rock, or was she merely another pawn in Diddy's shady scheme? This narrative is far from over, and the truth is becoming more and more apparent.